America? What's going on YouTube? What's going on Facebook? What's going on, everybody? It's Kev from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make some sense,
complete and total indictment
out of nonsense, and forgot to set up stuff. So, I hope you're doing well. Today is Wednesday. If you're out there, please let me know. Check one. Check one. Anybody watching? Let me see something here. Trying to make sure that, oh yeah, I got a notification. Okay. Well, look at that. I'll be darned. So, somebody said, howdy, good afternoon. What's happening? That's right, man. They let me out the doghouse, finally. We'll see for how long. You know I got to lay low now, y'all, on this channel until, I think, July. Yeah, they putting the heat on me, man. The heat is on. What's up, Dallas? All the way from Philippines. Hope everything's going well down there. Now, we got to get into some stuff because I know tonight President Trump will be on fake news CNN. And, you know, I wanted to maybe live stream that and like just react to it, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it. And I know some people are probably gonna, watch that, and I'll do a reaction video to it as well, probably after tonight's show. So, I get it. I'm gonna be competing with that, but I'm sure, if you want to, you can go right back and click on. I ain't gonna give CNN a rating anyway. I might have to just watch it off of Facebook or YouTube or something like that. I don't want to give them a rating. Anyway, so welcome to the show. If this is your first time here, hit the like button, share my videos, follow me on all the other platforms. Subscribe to my other channels too, y'all. One of them I can't even put in here, but it's called KC. Wait, what is it called? KC 2 Free. There it is. And then y'all also have been watching me on my other one, which is Think About It. Now, let's get into what we're going to be talking about tonight because, see, Mucus is back, but so am I. But before we get to Mucus, I want to talk about Benjamin Biden. See, now I know they always trying to get sensitive whenever you use this. I guess you would call it maybe a phrase. It's all about the Benjamins. They don't get mad when Puffy made the song. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. Yeah. Well, with Biden, it's all about the Benjamins. Benjamin Biden making all that money. Now, how do you do that? I like money. I want to make some of that money too. Why is he so smart and dumb at the same time? He's smart, dumb enough to make money like that. So some stuff have come out today. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole conference and see all of the details, but we've been doing this stuff anyway. I mean, I got the gist of it. As soon as I start listening to the Republicans, I'm like, he's corrupt. I mean, what? Y'all just now knowing that? I mean, it's obvious. The dude's corrupt. So we're going to be talking about Benjamin Biden, and then we'll get into Mucus, okay? So let's get it, man. Because Mucus is going to get it. He's going to get it tonight. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla.
There's some kings in the building. Do your best, let me show some respect. There's gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorilla in here.
That's right, man. So you see that? That should be me right about now. I stay green. They make me stay green all the time. That's how dumb they are. That is how corrupt they are. I stay green. So let's get into what we're going to be talking about tonight. Because Creepy Sleepy got some problems. And his problems would be bigger if we had a media and, a judicial system that would handle their business. So let's see what he's up to now, Creep. There he is. There he is right there.
These are incredibly serious charges that the House Oversight Committee is charging this president with. Selling America out and pocketing money. President Biden, meanwhile, is coming to his son's defense. Watch this.
Now, selling America out and profiting money. Now, see, this is the fundamental flaw within humans. It's just a matter of time before someone that is in power will find a way to benefit off of that power and abuse it. And when you got a regime like China and other corrupt nations that know one of the weaknesses of man is greed. It's a matter of time before they scout out the ones that might just be tempted to do some dirty deals. They find these Democrats, and I'm sure there's some Republicans too, but the Democrats are sloppy with their mess. They're not like the old school mobbers that would dress up in their pajamas and act crazy because they just want to throw the scent off. They wouldn't write nothing down, have secret meetings in the basement and stuff, making sure everything was not wired. They're like the new dang on mobsters is walking around flamboyant, and they don't care. They're out there in the open, and unfortunately, that brings attention to them. So Biden's been raggedy for a long time. And all you got to do is put together, a couple thoughts and say, wait a minute, these people make this much money a year in the Senate and as the president and as the vice president. How did he get those millions? All you got to do is say, wait a minute, his son is a crackhead. How in the world did his son make all that money? These are simple questions that if you got some common sense, you should start making those connections a long time ago. And that goes across the board. You think Mad Maxine made all those millions because she's brilliant? You think Nasty Pelosi and Paul made all that money because they're just really good at managing their pennies? No, these folks have figured out a way to exploit their position. However, by exploiting their position, they also have been exploited by other countries that see that they can exploit that. Yeah, try that on for size. So in other words, look at Joseph Biden. His son is on a crack. Yet I think he is willing to make a $1.5 billion deal. They find the creeps and then they make deals with them and then they sell us out. The uranium one deal. I mean, these are things that are major. And in my opinion, if it comes out and it is proven, not only should you be impeached, but you might need to go and do some jail time for it. And they want to talk about Trump's a traitor and all of that stuff.
First of all, my son's done nothing wrong.
What?
I trust him. I have faith in him. And it impacts my presidency by making me feel proud of him.
Now, Joe, you should know. You can't trust a crackhead. Dang on it. You don't leave a crackhead with nothing of value. What's wrong with you? Did you think Hunter was going to manage that money properly? Did you not see all those videos on that laptop of him partying all the time? My crackhead likes to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. That man was kicking it, all that money. So he said he trusts him. Yeah. Do you trust him enough to leave him with the laptop with all of the dirty secrets on it inside of a repair shop? Do you trust him that much, Joe? So he did that. And now, unfortunately, all the goods are out. Now, we knew that before the laptop. We knew that when he said, son of a gun, they fired that prosecutor in Ukraine. Stuff like that should have made everybody's antennas go up. But there's a bigger fundamental problem that I have with this is that the people who should have been bringing some type of charges, indictments, investigations, who knew this stuff was going on, never did. They never did. And even to this day, I'm saying, where is all of that? They ain't doing nothing about this. Are they seeing all the stuff we see? So let's see. He said his son, he trusts him.
Yeah, no pushback from the reporter on that based on all of the bank records that we have and the Treasury has allowed the House Oversight Committee chairman to view. These are serious charges. I think they're the most serious charges leveled at a president that I've ever seen, certainly.
True. I mean, Watergate ain't got nothing on this. And see, remember, Joe's dirty across the board. It ain't just with the money. This dude's filthy on so many levels. This the same guy who sat in on that meeting to sabotage Donald Trump's presidency. This was the same dude sitting up in there talking about let's get him on what is the Logan Act? Let's get Mike Flynn on the Logan Act. I wasn't in the meeting, had no idea they were investigating Michael Flynn. And yet that fool sat in there and put that stuff together. So this dude is corrupt from the rooter to the tutor, y'all. From the front to the back. So he needs to do some type of jail time. I mean, I'm just saying. Now, will we ever see it? That's the question. I've kind of lost faith because even though these reports come out, all this information gets dumped out. And I'm sitting here saying, wow, I mean, they could pretty much solve the case right here. What else do you need? I mean, why is this man still in the White House and they know that that laptop existed with all of that corruption on it. He's compromised. So y'all just gonna let him finish his term? That's what you're gonna do? God knows how much more damage the man can do. And then there's another problem which she's gonna bring up now.
Thoughts on what we're going to learn here?
Yeah, good morning, Maria. And I believe you are correct that these are very serious allegations. This is going far beyond what we've seen so far. And I got to tell you, I'm starting to lose track of how many whistleblowers there are between the ones coming to the Judiciary Committee that I serve on and the Oversight Committee. But the other thing...
All those whistleblowers, blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. I love it when real whistleblowers come forth. I go on and on. I didn't understand how I last that long. So anyway, the whistleblowers have come forth and been blowing the whistle for a long time on Joe, on the FBI, on the DOJ, all of that, and still nothing.
Maria, it's really curious that the FBI doesn't already have this information. I have to believe that they still have that information.
Yeah.
And I sure hope they heed the words of James Comer in regards to this issue. And they...
Or what? And see, that's the problem. Or what? When you have nestled yourself into one of the highest positions that can hold someone accountable, and you're up there and you're saying, well, there's really nobody above me. I'm Christopher Wray. And the guy above me, the president, is just as filthy and dirty. So I'm pretty much protected. The DOJ, that guy, he's a Merrick Garland. He sucks too. So who's going to do anything? Who's going to bring the charges? That's what I want to know. So if they do something, great. But I doubt if they are. You know why? Because they had that laptop for a long time. They had all of this information for a long time. They knew that that laptop was real. They knew that this man had dealings with other countries that could compromise him. And I guess they felt that was an acceptable risk. Acceptable risk, as long as we don't get the white nationalist Trump back in, who was holding China accountable, holding all these other countries accountable. We don't want that guy in. We don't want a guy in office that loves the country and is going to do what's best for us, the people. No, let's get the sellout. Let's get, I know he sells us out and all that stuff, but he's going to leave us in power. He's going to let us do what we want to do. He's going to let us control him because he's a full-blown puppet. That's what he is. So my question becomes, so what now what? The FBI got all that information. So what now what?
They do not indict before Wednesday, because this sounds like it's going to be powerful stuff that's going to be coming out on Capitol Hill.
I mean, if President Biden has been taking money from U.S. adversaries for years, while he was in the Senate, while he was the vice president, and we learn that he's been pocketing cash and making policy decisions based on that, that to me seems like it's impeachable.
And treasonous. That's what it seems like to me. Not only impeachable, but treasonous. But see, here's the crazy part. If they impeach this guy right now, I guarantee you it'll get to the Senate and the Democrats will defend all of this corruption. See, with Trump, they had the concoction stuff. There was a phone call. He was thinking about Putin, I'm pretty sure. And remember that time when he was like, hey, Russia, if you got Hillary's 30,000 emails, let us know. All of these things are evidence out in plain sight. Plain sight. With Biden, you got bank records. You got him on audio. Hey, son, I think you're pretty much in the clear. You got pictures of him with the folks that he said, I don't know nothing about my son's dealings and his business deals. All of that. You got Bobolinsky. You got whistleblowers. You got dudes who flew over with him to Ukraine saying, that dude's dirty. I was a phonographer. I know he's dirty. I'm willing to testify. You got folks in the IRS saying, I'm willing to blow the whistle too. Yeah, just protect my life though. Just protect my life because we know how the Democrats roll. So I'm willing to blow the whistle because this dude's been interfering with our investigation. You got all of that and still nothing. Ray gets up. I don't know what he does during his day, man. Let's go and find some more white nationalists. Let's make up some more accusations of extremists and domestic terrorists. Because you can't be looking at what's going on with this dude, all the evidence that's coming in, and you conclude, and let somebody else handle that. If you don't address it, who will? If Garland don't, that's why I even question. I wonder about, the district attorneys, all that stuff. And I'm thinking if you get in, the Democrats is never going to put a legitimate, non-biased DOJ director in. They're going to put an activist, they're going to put somebody in that will overlook all of their corruption, their crime, and all of that stuff. So we can expect nothing out of that dude. Right now, he's like, yeah, I know that was there. Me, what do you think? Come on, why you think they put me in here because I'm an honest, upstanding person as I sit here and let the border be blew open and all of that stuff? No, I'm just as dirty as they are. That's the problem. So the question becomes, so what now what? Did we know all of this?
Would you move and vote to impeach President Biden?
If that is the case, I don't believe we'd have any choice. I think the important thing at this point, though, is that not folks just like you, Maria, but all media outlets need to start reporting this because, as you said at the top, this is probably the most serious allegations we've seen of corruption by a president in certainly the history of over the last 50 to 60 years.
Yeah, probably the history of the world. That's how bad he is. That's how corrupt this dude is. That's how blatantly corrupt he is. And you don't see no questions thrown at him. You don't see them badgering him constantly. You know what? Okay, let's get back to your corruption. Mr. President, can you? They just might throw a softball question out there, and all he does is just, not true, and walk off. Just walk off. That should be the number one question every day in the press conferences from everybody in there. Next, why is Biden so corrupt? Okay, look, I told you I'm not going to talk about that here. Next, why is Biden so corrupt? That should be the only question that everybody should have, because if it was Trump with all of this evidence lingering out there, that would be what they would do every single time they talk to him. Corruption. What about your son? What about this? What about that? They don't even do that for Biden. And like I was saying, if they do impeach him, the Democrats would overlook all of that evidence and still acquit this guy. That's the sad part about it, because all of them over there, for the most part, the higher ups, the old school, nasty, stinking Democrats, those folks, they knew this dude was dirty when they put him in office. So you think they're going to roll him under the bus? Only way they would roll this guy under the bus is if they felt he became a liability. If they felt, okay, if this guy really thinks he got the juice and he's deciding to run again and he's going to get blown to hell, yeah, let's go ahead and impeach him. Get him out of there. Ride it out with Camille and Kamala for the next year or so. And then we can slide somebody like Gavin Newsom or somebody in there.
Yeah, right. And the mainstream media will not cover it. So what are we going to do? Impeach President Biden, and then we got Kamala Harris as the president?
Well, I threw up a little bit in my mouth thinking about that. Nobody want her coming out to the mic talking about, yeah. I don't want to hear all that cackling all the time. Dang on it. I don't want to see that. So here she is, next up to bat, and it's all bad. They installed her in there. I don't know if that was a safety net for Biden. I mean, it has many purposes, most likely. One, she's black. She's woman / black. I don't know what else. She's whatever. She's like mixed punch. But nonetheless, they threw her butt in there. A woman of color. She's obedient, that's for sure. She's corrupt and evil enough to do whatever they ask her to do. And she's very unlikable. So really, this chick is perfect because Biden's like, can't get rid of me. Then you get this chick. So that's a problem. That is a major problem. That's a conundrum that I sat back and I got kind of excited about impeaching Biden. And then I got reminded of what's next. I was sitting there like, yeah, that dude need to get impeached, man. But, yeah, man, then we'd be stuck with, cackling Kamala. However, I think cackling Kamala should get impeached too. I say you impeach the whole cabinet. That's what I feel.
That's certainly the fear that a lot of Americans have at this point. And I got to tell you, this next 2 years is going to be a long 2 years, whether it's President Biden, Vice President Harris, whatever. It is going to be a long 2 years.
Nobody knows the troubles I see. Nobody knows my sorrows. I feel like singing old black Negro spirituals, rocking my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Wade in the water, children. Come on, y'all, sing it with me. God's gonna trouble the water. We in trouble. Dang on it. So yeah, a long 2 years. That's right. It's already been a long one. So imagine the amount of damage that these folks have done just up until now. And yet they got almost a whole nother 2 years. Man.
Well, tomorrow, for the first time, the American people are going to see actual bank records that show wire transfers from adversaries around the world into a web of LLCs that were owned or controlled by the Bidens. And then those transfers were made back into the Biden family accounts. So this was one reason the Biden family received so many of the bank violations that are known as suspicious activity reports, because the banks knew that this wasn't normal business activity.
Not at all.
But we're going to see whether or not tomorrow, Jesse, Joe Biden was telling the truth when he said that his family never received any money from China.
So true. Family never got anything. My hands are clean. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't think Biden's going to make it until his second presidency. And if he doesn't, or if he chooses to withdraw or any of that stuff, I don't want the investigation to go away. I don't want him to be able to ride off into the sunset and just act like nothing ever happened. If I was Trump and I won, I would immediately command. It wouldn't be a request. It would be whoever I put in as the director. I would be like, yo, prosecute this dude. I want you. I ain't putting together no special counsel, nothing. I want you to make it your mission to go after that dude and any others that had anything to do with any type of governmental corruption. I want you to be the Elliot Ness of your era. Go and clean house. Go FBI, go CIA, go in all of these joints and start sweeping up. Come out with the pine saw and the Murphy oils. I want it all. Get some African incense, light them so we can get the smell going. All of that mess. I want it done. I don't want Biden to be like, I'm 83. Why are you prosecuting me? I don't care. I don't care if that dude is on a oxygen tank. Roll his tail in to the courthouse, tank and all. I don't care. I want to see some type of accountability take place when it comes down to these funky, corrupt Democrats. And just so happen you run across a couple Republicans that's dirty, sweep them up too. Let's continue.
We're going to see tomorrow whether or not Joe Biden knew about his family's business dealings, which we know that he said several times that he didn't. So I think tomorrow is going to be Judgment Day for the Biden administration, the Biden White House, and I'm anxious to see how the mainstream media covers this.
Or covers it up.
Yeah,
Congressman, do
Jesse
any
got
of those...
it. Jesse hit it right on the head, or covers it up, because you know that's what they've been doing this whole time anyway. It's amazing to me. I'm sitting here listening to my father's TV from out in the hall. They're still talking about Trump. They're up there. I have Trump. It's kind of interesting about this accusation. He was not found guilty of rape. However, he was responsible for damages of. And I'm saying, man, while all of this stuff right here is going on, y'all are still chasing Trump. That is how these people maintain their corruption. Because what the media does is just don't cover their stuff. They just sit back and say, you know what? Let's just say, look over here. Look over here. Now, I can tell my notifications must not have gone out since I've been back. There's only 33 people watching, y'all. Come on. Come on, YouTube. Up to some shenanigans. I can see that already. Somebody said, how's old man Teddy doing? He's hanging in there. It's tough. I'll be honest with you. This is one of the worst things to ever see a human being go through. That's why I don't understand why Joe Biden's family will not tell him to go sit down somewhere. I mean, seeing my father's decline mentally, the frustration, the anger, the confusion, all of that stuff. And my father, I take care of him 24/7. This guy is the president. We're about to find out where he's at mentally in a second. And he's running for another one. Unbelievable. Somebody said they didn't get a notification. I'm sure many people didn't.
Does bank records show cash going directly into Joe Biden's bank account?
Oh.
Well, you'll see tomorrow, Jesse. They set this up,
They set it up.
to be as complicated as possible, to make it as difficult as possible to do two things. Number one, trace where the sender was, and secondly, to deceive the IRS. So this is like an organized crime unit. The way that they've set up this litany of LLCs, and they didn't make transfers directly to Biden families. They would transfer from one LLC to another LLC, and then make a wire to one Biden, then a wire to the Biden's LLC. I mean, it's just. I've never seen activity like this, and I've been involved in banking for a long time.
Now, y'all hear that? That shows intent to cover it up. You know, back in the day, they used to say, well, there was this thing. It's not in the Bible. I've never seen it in the Bible. But there was this belief that, you know, children can't be held accountable for their own sins until they're 12 years old. Okay, and I guess they might have gotten that out of the Bible because a young man becomes a man back in the day at 12. And so maybe that was it. However, I think that kids should be held accountable for their sins when they can do something and cover it up. That means you are aware of what you just did. Back in the day, you would break something, at least I did. Break something, mama tell you don't play in the living room. You know, I covered the whole couch with plastic for company. Can't even enjoy it. Can't even enjoy it. Don't mess around and knock that velvet picture off the wall of the dog's shooting pool. Don't mess up that big old picture of Jesus, in 3D. I don't want that. So I would get my butt down there in that living room and break stuff. And what did I do? Propped it up. Set it up just like that. Like, okay, all right, I think that's good. And wait for my mom to come in, touch it, and it breaks. And I look out like I'm shocked. What the? I tried to cover it up many times. When you can do stuff and say, I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to cover up my trails. Yeah, you're accountable for that. And these folks have been covering their trails. But still, they're sloppy. On one end, you go through all of that trouble. Covering all of that up, send it here, then wire it over here, then send it up here, and then ship it out to Canada, and then bring it back in through all of that stuff to cover up the money you're getting, but then get on TV and say, I told them to fire that prosecutor, son of a gun, they fired him. Leave your laptop laying inside of a dang on laptop repair shop for several years or so with all the information on it. See, so they go through that big effort to cover up their crimes, and yet are dumb enough to leave all the crumbs laid out. Like my dog I used to have named Raven. She was one of the smartest dogs I had. And she ended up getting hold to some peanut butter cookies. She was all black, like the Omen. Loved her. She was clever. Got hold to some seasonal tasty peanut butter cookies and thought she got away with the crime. But she was too dumb to realize. She jumped up on the bed, and all of that peanut butter was in her black beard. Yeah, she thought she got away with it. She ate it downstairs, y'all. I wasn't around to see it. But when she came up to say hi, I said, wait a minute, what is all of that brown stuff in there? That's peanut butter. She brought the evidence right to me. Right to me. Same thing with these folks. That's how they are. Unreal.
They were clearly trying to cover up the source of the money, and they were certainly trying to protect the big guy.
And for Joe Biden, things weren't really going too well for him when he sat down with MSNBC at like 11 on a Friday night.
Oh, God. So they picked a time where nobody's watching. They wanted to make sure Creepy Sleepy wasn't seen and got too much exposure. So let's see how he did in his big day, his interview.
He was striking out softball after softball.
What?
Well, they're going to see bridges that didn't exist before that were shut down. You're going to see.
Y'all hear that? Did anybody make sense of that? They're going to see bridges that didn't exist before that was shut down. How can you shut down an unexisting bridge? That's deep, Joe. Either he on a whole nother level, okay, of his understanding. Maybe it's metaphorical. I don't know. Sounds like nonsense to me, but you never know when you are Joe. So he said you're going to see bridges that didn't exist anymore that were shut down. What else?
For example, you're going to be able to get an Amtrak, and instead of going through the tunnel of Baltimore at 30 miles an hour because nothing's been done under the Chesapeake Bay under the Baltimore River, the Baltimore area.
Oh, malfunctioning. Unplug it and plug it back in. Reset it. Something done went wrong. Just like that in that man's brain. For example, the 30 miles per hour sound like a story problem. If the train doesn't exist, but it really does exist, doesn't really exist, and if it's traveling at 30 miles per hour and it doesn't exist, then how can it become existing? All right, think about that. Because I have lots of wisdom. That's what he's about to tell us.
For 80 years.
80 year. Just left the S off? For 80 year.
I don't know what he just said. And things went so south.
Neither, Jesse.
That Joe had to be rescued. Watch.
You talk about fighting for the soul of America, but can we level set in terms of the soul of America? Right now, hate crimes are on the rise, random acts of gun violence, women are under attack. Mr. President?
I'll do one. The answer is yes, because that's why we cannot let this election be one where the same man who was president 4 years ago.
Good googly moo. Do you wanna, 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 do you wanna rescue Joe? No. I'm talking about pulling the lifeline and back onto the boat. Let that man drown, because he sucks. That dude should be thrown off the boat. So, you see that? How you like that? Ladies start asking this man some questions, and they step in and say, hey, you can't ask that. What is that? What is that? Who does that? If I'm the president, I'm going to treat everybody on my staff, not rudely, but I will treat them like my Uncle Ron or my father used to be. They're up there having a conversation, and you come in with something stupid. Dad, I was thinking, hey, man, don't you see I'm talking? I'm sorry. First things first, say, excuse me. Excuse me. Now can I talk? No. Now go on back up to your room. I'll come get you when I'm finished. That's what I would do. We started learning real quick. Don't even interrupt the parents while they're talking. So this staffer who came in to try to rescue Joe must know the condition Joe's in warrants them to say, don't you answer that, Joe. Listen to what they said.
Becomes president again.
Have you ever seen White House staffers jump in the middle of an interview like that?
Never,
the anchor
Jesse.
was just rattling off a list of bad things happening under Joe Biden. Hate crimes on the rise, gun crimes on the rise, attacks on women on the rise. And the White House staffer said, can't do that, sorry. Can't do what exactly?
There you go. Can't do that, sorry. Now, have you ever seen Trump interrupted like that? There's times where Trump had a place to be, and he would just stop impromptu and do a full-blown press conference. And I'm sure the guy sitting on Marine One is like, okay, in a minute we're going to have to gas up again. But hey, I'm not going to get out my helicopter and go over and say, hey, Mr. President, I think we need to head out. No, they don't do that. When the president, if he decided, hey, I'm going to be late. Okay, he's just late. Everybody else got to wait. So with Joe, though, he's controlled. All the time since he's gotten in office, it's been, I'm going to get in trouble for answering any more questions. I got somewhere to be. The people told me I better wrap it up. Unreal.
Ask the president of the United States a question about the country. Now, today I spoke with people who've been in the room during presidential sit-down interviews.
Okay.
Under Trump, under Obama, under Bush. And a White House staff member cutting off a journalist in the middle of a question to the president is unheard of.
What?
What kind of corrupt arrangement are we witnessing here? And the staff couldn't even save Biden. He went on to confuse Obama with Trump.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, Jill with his sister. He does a lot of that. So they did everything they could to save Joe, and yet he still drowned. That man wanted to drown. He's that guy drowning that if you jump in, he'll pull you under with him, grabbing you around the neck, swinging wild. All of that mess to the point where you just got to let him go. Let him go. And I think the Democrats are trying to do just that, which we're about to find out in a minute.
If Biden can't make it through an interview with MSNBC without help, how is he going to make it another 4 years?
Yeah. You hear that? So now, if you come out to the practice field talking about I want to go out for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, you know what? Tell you what. Let's see you run through those ropes right there. And you can't even walk over to the ropes. You already got rickets in the knees. You already got tender feet. Look like you got two left feet. I'm going, how are you going to run through the obstacle and you can barely walk over to the obstacle? You'll never make it. You're not qualified. You can't do the simple stuff if you can't walk right. I know you can't run through that. This dude right here can't even pass a simple MSNBC interview where the lady didn't throw softballs. She used T-balls. Set the ball right on top of a stick and said, "Yo, all you got to do is hit it." And he was whiffing those. So how's this man going to make it through campaigning? How's he going to make it through debating? They're going to have to drop something else out of the atmosphere again or something so he can go right back into his basement if he runs.
It is fair to say that there's not a Fortune 500 company in the world looking to hire a CEO in his 80s.
And this goes to show how dumb Americans are. I mean, the dumb ones I'm talking about. Because technically, we are all the board members. And we should be looking at a president that will be the best at his job and make the company as strong and stable as possible. So if we're the board members and this person comes in to interview us and you hear the ideas and the resume that this man has, you cannot tell me. You would be like, yeah, first things first. He's about 107. Okay, so he may not even make it. Now, I know they might say, well, you shouldn't say that. Hey, it's the truth. Then again, none of us might not make it. But, you know, if I kicked the bucket at my age, people are going, wow, I didn't see that coming. Something crazy must have happened. But this dude, you're just kind of like, oh, really? I mean, heck, he was 80 like two. You ever seen people crying over folks that's like 97 years old? Ah, God, they were too young. Why? I'm sorry, maybe I'm a jerk, but I just can't get all busted up when I go to Aunt Ethel's funeral and she's 97. Folks acting like she's 13. Now she's young. She shouldn't have gone. Take me with her. I'm like, Aunt Ethel was 97. She almost cracked a stack. What do you want from her? She probably was ready to go. Like, man, I can't even move. Every time I breathe, dust come out my nose. This guy right here is about 1,000,000 years old, first of all. So him coming in to get interviewed, everybody's going, okay, this guy might not be able to run the country just based on his age. Then he opens his mouth and you hear statements like we just heard. Now, remember, this is why I say a lot of Americans are dumb. He's been like this for a while. They got to look at him like they're hiring a CEO that would run the company, which in this case is our country. And they went and voted for this guy? That's what burns me up. The guy that was on the campaign talking about Vatican care, and I got these hairy legs and blonde hair on my legs and stands up, and I love when kids rub my legs, and I love kids sitting on my lap. This dude, they hired that dude, and technically they didn't hire him. Unfortunately, some shenanigans went on. We all know. But still, these people who willingly go out and vote for this guy is unreal.
So why would an 82-year-old Joe Biden be the right person for the most important job in the world?
Because I've acquired a hell of a lot of wisdom.
What?
I know more than the vast majority of people. I'm more experienced than anybody's ever run for the office. And I think I've proven myself to be honorable as well as also effective.
Blasphemy! Do y'all hear this blasphemy right here? Talking about I got a lot of wisdom. What are you, Solomon? Then he got the nerve to talk about, and I've been proving myself to be an honorable person. Are you kidding me? Boy, I tell you, the crap that Democrats get away with is fascinating. I just heard on TV when they were talking about Donald Trump and this lady, whoever she was, and they were like, this is a big step for Me Too, the Me Too movement. I said, what? They brought that back for this special occasion? So now y'all want to bring up Me Too? Why don't you bring Tara Reid on that show to interview her about what Joe did? I don't want to hear nothing else about no Me Too. And this guy, I'm an honorable person. This slimeball who has been kissing and sniffing and caressing kids for God knows how long, who took showers with his daughter, that slimeball right there, who raised a crackhead son and a daughter with sexual issues that took showers with him. This guy. This guy who was good friends with Robert Byrd, former KKK Grand Poobah. That dude right there. I'm an honorable person. Are you kidding me? This dude, I can't think of one honorable thing Joe has done. So now he's up there touting his resume that sucks.
Biden's neither. He can barely keep a lid on a bribery scandal without the help of the entire system.
Jesse, you ain't never lied, Jesse. The entire system had to cover up for this guy. Do you understand all the working mechanisms that had to take place to protect this dude from even folks who hated Trump? Protect them from saying, I might hate Trump, but this guy's nasty. He's filthy. They protected him during the campaigning. Uh, they protected him by not really going hard over the Tara Reid issue. They protected him by not talking about all the lies that he told years ago that disqualified him from even running. They protected him from all that video footage of him saying Barack Obama was the first clean, articulate African American. Yeah, they didn't tell all the racially sensitive people about that. No, that wasn't clips they were beaming out on Yahoo. They didn't mention that this dude was friends with Robert Byrd and eulogized him. They didn't run that clip. They didn't run him talking about, I don't want my kid growing up in a racial jungle. Why didn't they show all of that stuff? They never highlighted the fact that he lied about the civil rights march and all of that mess and rescuing Nelson Mandela. Do you mean tell me they didn't show all of those people that? They didn't show all these people that this dude was running around talking about true international depression, isolating, punish China. When folks that went out and voted for this guy did that, I guarantee you, they didn't see all of that. They didn't see that big fat laptop. They protected him when it came down to that, and they're still protecting him as of now. But I got a question what's going to happen in the future. I got a feeling they're going to eventually have to roll him under the bus. They're going to yeller him. I'm telling you, because you cannot expect this dude to make it another 4.
Is not really how I describe our exit from Afghanistan, or how his family stiffs a 4-year-old girl for child support, or calls half the country Nazis.
Oh, yeah, that ain't wise. That ain't upstanding and honorable. So let me get this straight. You leave not only some troops there to die, but some American citizens, we don't even know whatever happened to them. Media just stopped asking questions. They came out, I guess they wanted to stay. I still don't know what happened. We're going to stay and bring them all home. Then like a month later, are they home? No, still over there. Don't know where they at. I'm sitting there like, well, did we go get them? Are they alive? You're trying to tell us that, hey, look, if y'all don't make it to this exit point right here, I'm sorry, we're just going to have to fly off. Yeah, hopefully the Taliban don't interrupt you while you're getting there. Unreal. So he did that. He got a granddaughter who I just saw him interacting with some kids, and they were asking him how many grandkids he has. And he's like, I got 6. No, Joe, I think you got 7. Don't want to claim that last one, do you?
And when's Biden proven effective? Prices are up, wages are down, the border's obliterated. 2/3 of the country now agrees Joe Biden's a mess.
Our brand new poll conducted with the Washington Post, it shows major challenges for President Biden. His approval rating's at 36%, a career low. This poll is just brutal for President Biden.
Absolutely, George. And you talked earlier about that record low approval rating for President Biden. It's actually 6 points down just since February. And the skepticism over his leadership extends deep inside his own party. Only 36% of Democrats think that their party should nominate Joe Biden for a second term. 58% say they would support someone else or prefer someone else.
The country agrees with just...
Wow. Yeah, I had to get smart. I became Smart Hawk this time. So, Professor Hawk. So let me understand this. He stinks across the board. Okay. I mean, heck, even people who love animals don't want to be around a skunk. So this guy has become a skunk right about now. Everybody's avoiding him, including his own folks. So his approval ratings are in the tank. I wonder what's the reason behind that. Let's see. That's my curious eyebrow here. See, can you do both? Can you do both?
See what is prime time. The country's caught on to what we've been saying for the last 2 years. Biden's at 36% approval, and he's about to enter this summer from hell. High gas prices, no more Title 42, and some filthy bank records are about to come out.
Whoa, now that is bad. That dude right there, he doesn't have a tailwind. He's going into a blizzard. So yeah, we got gas prices high. The border is absolutely blew out, which we're going to find out tonight during my show. And he sucks. Now, how are you going to run on that? And think about this. If he's trying to campaign, he's definitely not going to be solving problems because he can't multitask. This dude probably can't chew and walk at the same time. So he is a walking mess.
Not only that, another 2/3 of the country says Biden's shot.
New poll out this morning from ABC News and the Washington Poll comparing mental sharpness of President Biden and former President Trump.
Okay.
Pretty stark numbers here. Do Biden and Trump have the mental sharpness to serve? 32%.
63% says he doesn't. Wow. Wow. So, I guess you could only hide his condition so long. That means even some liberals are like, what did he just say? Did that man just butcher another name? Did that man just get up there and ramble on and I couldn't understand a word he was saying? So I guess it has gotten to the point where even liberals are having to admit that this guy may not be our champion. And he never was. He never was a champion. He sucks. But 54% says Trump does.
And say he has the mental sharpness. 63% says he does not. That's not a good number for President Biden. 2/3 of the American people say he's not sharp enough to be president.
Biden want us to watch him.
And remember though, this is the guy who got 81 million votes. What? Well, you thought I was serious? No, it was a joke. It was a joke. Because we all know that this guy did not get no 81 million votes. You can't find me 81 million people that could listen to this guy for 1 second and say, yeah, you know what? All 81 million of us are on one accord. He's our guy to lead us into the future. 81 million votes. And I guarantee you 80 million of those were probably dead people. Let's continue.
And we did. He just said Memorial Day is this weekend.
Thank you, Secretary Buttigieg.
Oh, God. Oh, God. The opening already is a mess. Thank you, Secretary Buttigieg. He couldn't even pronounce Buttigieg. Let's see. Maybe he could do it again. Let me see if I can make it.
He just said Memorial Day is this weekend.
Thank you, Secretary Buttigieg.
Wow. Wow. You hear that? That man sound like he just ran a marathon. Thank you, Secretary Buttigieg. Unreal.
Thank you all for being here. Please sit down. As we approach Memorial Day this weekend, and Memorial Day weekend, I'm rushing it, and a busy summer travel season.
Not only does Joe not know what day it is, but all the things going on in the country, Monday morning, he delivers remarks on baggage fees.
Yeah, because that's the important stuff. Yeah, that's the only stuff they trust Joe to do right about now. Go out, talk about stuff that's not important. Man, I tell you, during the COVID lockdowns, that helped him out so much because he didn't have to address any real problems. He'd go out there, read a couple notes. The CDC says the numbers are down. That's all he had to do. Take no questions. Then when that finally ended, they just sent him around to talk about climate change and racism and all of that mess. But this guy right here has not solved any real problems. In fact, him and his whole administration has created a whole bunch. And we're about to go ahead and lay all those out in a second.
With Buttigieg. President Biden says nothing's his fault. It's the media's.
Why do you think your polling is where it is?
Well, I don't think people, by the way, every major one who won re-election, their polling numbers were mine are now.
Put polling aside then, right? Sentiment in this country, despite all these wins, is not very
I think
good.
all they've heard is negative news for 3 years. Everything is negative. I'm not being...
Boy, that Biden is a Metamucil. I tell you, he's a hot water bottle walking. So now this guy said, all the negative press, everything they heard for the last 3 years, negative stuff coming from the press. Are you kidding me? Where was this dude during Trump? It's so amazing how they try to gaslight us. Now, he is on one of the most friendly networks to him and the Democrats. And he's talking about negativity. Now, under Trump, I don't recall one time MSNBC or CNN recognized something positive that Trump did. And if it was positive, they found a way to spin it and make it sound like it was negative. They never wanted to give him a win. It was 24/7. As soon as they come on air and today's news, Trump is still infested with racism. He's carrying a white nationalist virus, and he's heading your way soon. Run. All you heard was nothing but negativity constantly about Trump. And this guy's saying, negativity for the last 3 years. Warranted negativity. And that is few and far in between when it comes down to these fake networks. Warranted. that means they had no other choice but to say what he just did was bad. They couldn't avoid what he did with Afghanistan, so they had to go ahead and let him have it. There's certain things that they had to go, we love him, but yeah, we're going to have to slap his wrist, but not too much. Don't break it. It's frail. All right, just one of those. But if they would have did what they were supposed to do, which is lay into this dude,
critical of the press, but you turn on the television, the only way you're going to get a hit is if there's something negative. You don't. Anyway,
Biden has gotten the greatest press coverage of any president besides Barack Obama on his honeymoon. The media doesn't touch his corruption. They cover it up and ignore the border, the crime wave, and inflation. And
there you go. You see all of that? Because, see, I mean, if I didn't know what was going on, I would think America's running great. If I wasn't a person that was hip to these raggedy behind Democrats, if I was just a average citizen that don't know nothing about politics, ain't interested in it, I don't get into that stuff. I would be walking around thinking all of the stuff that does come out and negatively impact me is simply how the world works. Stuff happens, life changes. I would have no idea that this man and his crew have put policies in place that are destroying our country. I would be oblivious to the crisis on the border. I would be oblivious to all the money we're sending to Ukraine for whatever reason. I would be sitting over going, I guess we are doing something over there. I'm sure it's important. Why would our government just go over there and start meddling for nothing? Yeah, I would be walking around thinking that crap is just happening in circumstances. I would have no idea that these people put all of this stuff into motion. And like 80% of that is because of how the media has covered for this guy and talked about his great accomplishments and all of that stuff. And, that's why for him to still have that low approval, he's working hard to get it because the media worked overtime to create this dude to be some champion or something. So that means he blew through all of that positive press. He blew through them being his darn PR firm. He blew through it. You know you bad when the media is going, we can only do so much. He's horrible.
And they spent the first 2 years of his presidency covering January 6th. Biden should be thanking the media. Biden's a wounded animal in the White House. Blacks, Latinos, independents, youngsters are ditching. He needs a life preserver during an MSNBC interview.
Joe Biden.
It's true. He is a wounded animal, not only in the White House and with us as the voters, but unfortunately, all of our enemies across the world look at him like a wounded animal as well. I mean, come on, if I was an animal, he would be the first prey that I would look at. I'd be like, all right, time to eat. You see that gazelle over there that's coughing up something? And only got 2 legs. And got to stand up right to run. Let's go get that gazelle right there. Don't have to work too hard. It's already wounded and weak.
Biden is sending in the troops. 1,500 active duty soldiers are heading to the southern border ahead of a coming migrant avalanche. They'll get there on May 10th, just a day before Title 42 expires and unleashes the floodgates.
Whoa. So I'm sure they're sending those troops down there to stop something from happening. Wait a minute. I'm sure that they're going down there. Halt. Back up. All right, everybody turn around and go back from where you came from. I'm sure that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing, right? Let's see.
Translation. Joe Biden thinks the surge will be a big effing deal. It's a move that drove liberals nuts when the other guy did it, of course. Yeah. But now the administration is tight-lipped.
It's not racist anymore?
Just before the midterm elections, President Trump ordered 5,200 U.S. troops to fortify the border. At the time, Democrats and former military officials and officers came out against that, saying they were being used for political reasons. How is this different?
Yeah, so, really my focus here is on talking about what we've been asked to do and what we're doing.
There you go. You see that? That man, I'm not here to talk about that. It's obvious that there's a double standard and these troops are being used. Not to stop it, though. We're about to find that out. I knew that. Soon as I heard that they were sending those troops down there, I thought to myself, surely they're not sending them down there to actually stop these people from coming across. See, we wouldn't even have this problem. We wouldn't have folks expecting to come across our border as if they are privileged to be able to come into this country, as if they have a right to come into this country. They wouldn't even be at the border if we didn't send out the message to come on. Search the border. This right here is such an indictment against our sovereignty. It's remarkable. The gall you have to highlight your crimes. I mean, you're sitting here saying, you know what? We're going to come and post up and foreshadow what we're about to do. Why do you think all 40, 50,000 of us are sitting over here waiting for this thing to expire? We're coming. There you have it. They shouldn't even be down there waiting to come across. That means their mentality has been America's weak, America's greedy. These politicians want us to come here, and that's why we're here. Because nobody is posting up outside of Russia's border. 40,000 people all over the place talking about, yep, we're coming in. We're coming in. Why? Why aren't they doing that? Maybe it's because Russia didn't send out the message that, hey, come one, come all. Maybe it's because all these other countries don't say, everybody come on. So now what should happen is while they're all waiting, that's not including the ones that said, I'm not going to wait, I'm just going to come on across. What should happen is somebody should come down there with a big bullhorn and say, all right, listen up. All you people over here, disperse and go back to your country. We're not allowing you to come. I'm sorry you came this distance, but you got to go. That's what should happen. And watch them all just burst up and go back home. But no, that's not happening. We're showing them that it's okay because we're bringing troops down there to welcome you. We're preparing for your stay.
And while President Biden sends in troops to deal with the overflow of migrants, his White House press secretary is trying to push a bogus narrative that illegal immigration is down more than 90%. Too bad for her. The Deucenator was on patrol today.
We actually deal with the immigration system in a humane way. You've seen the parolee program be so successful.
The Cavatelli program. What is she talking about? We deal with the immigration system in a humane way. Now, humane way to them is let them come across. Don't separate them from their children, even though they broke our law. Yeah. Don't require them to get COVID testing. Yeah. Don't ask them any questions and require background checks and licenses and proof that they're not MS-13 and killers and stuff. Forget that mess. Don't hassle these folks. Make it as easy as possible. In fact, let's create some type of app where they can just go on and fill out, hey, I'll be there at the border on Thursday. You better have somebody waiting on me. Okay? This is unbelievable. That's why I need to keep talking about this, because this is one of them things that if I was ever to be brought in as a fixer under a good leader, I would destroy anybody who allowed this to happen. I would be like, yo, butt going to jail, you going to jail, and give me the authority to shut that border down. I need about 5 days. 5 days, a whole bunch of hardcore dudes, and we'll have it fixed in about 5 days. Boy, I tell you.
It has when it comes to illegal migration, we've seen it come down by more than 90%, and that's because of the actions that the president has taken.
Where did that number come from?
I was speaking
out of my butt. There it is. Black gay drop. That's what she should have said. Where'd that number come from? Out of my butt, Peter. Pulled it straight out of there. So now listen to her try to pretend that, what I was talking about was.
He is telling us the number is.
I hear you. I'm about to answer.
136,000 people.
No, I'm about
to answer you. If the dramatics could come down just a little bit. So I was speaking to the parolee program. Data has shown us that is.
What? The Provogi program? What's that? The Hoagie program? I was speaking to the Cavatelli program. What is that program? See, this is what Democrats do. Here's the spin. First of all, I don't know what the crap that is. I think she's referring to when they said, okay, these particular countries, we will open up the ability for X amount of asylum seekers or migrants to come to the country. So by opening that up, it kind of made the whole illegal part decrease. But really, it didn't. All you did is just made it legal for all of them to come now. So now you're trying to make us think that illegal immigration went down 90% under that program. But in reality, you just said, all right, we'll take 100,000 of y'all or whatever. So of course, it's going to look as if illegal immigration dropped, but it didn't. All you did was made it legal so you didn't have to call it illegal immigration. And you're bragging about, look, they're over 90%. What about the countries y'all didn't give that liberty to? That's what I want to know. Is that down 90% too?
Down by more than 90%.
Oh, yeah. Well, if the spin doesn't work, you can always call people racist. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is accusing Texas Governor Greg Abbott of targeting black-run cities with his migrant busing plan.
So when in doubt, y'all, bust out that racism. Where is it? Spread a little racism on everything. For all occasions, that'll clean it up. So here's Adams, and listen to this fool.
108,000 cities in New York. 108,000. Governor Abbott sent asylum seekers to New York, black mayor.
Okay.
To Washington, black mayor.
Okay.
To Houston, black mayor. To Los Angeles, black mayor. To Denver, black mayor. I cannot ignore the fact that Governor Abbott sent migrants only to cities with their black mayors.
Oh boy, I tell you, man, the fun never stops. You would think in 2023, this wouldn't even be something that needs to be even talked about. So, like all Democrats, instead of evaluating the choices that they have made and saying our choices have contributed to this, all they do is say, you can't criticize me and hold me accountable for my choices because I'm black. Now, there's so many other reasons that he could have made other connections than black mayors. For example, all Democrat ran cities. There you go. Lot of Democrats run most of the black inner cities. That's what they do. They run most of those. So instead of making that connection, he went with you just sending them to the black mayors. Unbelievable.
And it's undermining our cities.
Judge, always gets kind of infuriating when the race card is pulled because it's like if you just try to solve the problem rather than have to deflect. But everybody on the other side blames Joe Biden. Last time I checked, he's not a black mayor.
Yeah, he's a white guy. Yep. You don't vote for me, you ain't black. And a lot of those black mayors are mayors because the Democrats just want black mayors. So they can say, 1, we can control you. 2, we look virtuous. 3, we done made sure if you become a black mayor in a Democrat-ran city, you're going to be corrupt and evil enough to push our race agenda. Yep, just like this fool did. Got out there, black mayor here, black mayor there. So what? Democrat mayors. How about that? Maybe if you took a stance like Abbott, DeSantis, or some of those other states to say, hey, listen, man, we are not a sanctuary city for illegal immigrants. Maybe he wouldn't have sent them there to you. Okay. You don't see him sending migrants to places that aren't saying, hey, everybody over here, look, come one, come all, except for Martha Vineyard. You send them there, get y'all tails out of here immediately. But we love you. We love you. You just can't stay. Kiss on the forehead. Now get out of here, you crazy kids. So maybe if you would call your own party out about their policies that opened up that border and say, hey, Democrats, you guys made policies that led to this. And New York is not going to bear the burden of your raggedy policies. So therefore, don't send them here. We're no longer a sanctuary city. But you cannot come out talking about, I'm a sanctuary city. We're all welcoming and stuff. And then when they show up, you're like, So let's see.
He's a white president.
Well, he's the guy who's letting them in. But the amazing part of this is that there is the mayor from El Paso, who's a Democrat, who is sending them to Chicago, but nobody in New York City, but nobody's talking about that. And I have to make one comment about Lori Lightfoot, where she says she's shocked that many illegals who arrive need food, clothing, and shelter. Is she?
Wow, how naive was Beetlejuice? No wonder she got the boot. Beetle got the boot. So Beetlejuice says she was shocked at how needy these people were when they got there. What? Illegal immigrants need to eat? Wow, I thought they were self-sufficient. I thought they ran on batteries or something. So wait, they don't have a dresser with all their clothes in it? No, they just came with a backpack? Huh, that's shocking. Well, were they able to fit all of their clothes in the backpack? No, just water, maybe a couple pairs of underwear and stuff like that. Okay. So wait, what kind of resources they have? None. Just the clothes on their back, and that's it. So we got to get them food, water, and shelter. Well, that's odd. Are you kidding me? You go outside, you invite a puppy in. Yeah, look, I found this puppy outside. Okay. Well, you got to take care of that puppy. What? What do puppies need? They need to go outside and use the bathroom. You got to potty train it. You got to groom it. You got to feed it. You got to water it. You got to get shots. You got to train it and all that. What? I just want the puppy. Why can't it do all of that itself? So this woman talks about how inclusive and embracing we are when it comes down to illegal immigrants and all that stuff, and shocked when they show up and say, I need stuff. Unreal. Now, my disclaimer, I'm not saying that illegal immigrants are puppies. Okay. There's nothing wrong with being a puppy because puppies are cute. However, I'm giving the analogy so you can understand how can this woman be shocked at the fact that these people need stuff.
Clueless? I mean, these are sanctuary cities. These are big cities. That's why people are being sent there. These are cities that say, send me your hungry and send me those who want to be protected from the law.
All of that.
But the thing that's most really alarming about this is Karine Jean-Pierre. She comes out and she says, you know what? We have reduced. The number is down 90%. The president is doing a great job. Well, she's full of crap.
Thank you, Janine. And I'm glad she had to say it so I didn't. She's full of caca. Dung, doo-doo, feces. She's full of all of that. Have the nerve to come out there and try to act like, oh, well, I wasn't talking about real immigration, illegal immigration. I'm talking about this little program we got set up over here. And then didn't even want Peter to follow up. All right, Peter, we got to go. We got to go. No, I'm not answering anything else. Don't force me to sit up here and keep dropping out these big, fat, gigantic lies like this. I can only bear so much. I could only lie so much, man. So, now we got these sanctuary cities who now don't want to be so sanctuarious. And we got Kareem coming out there and doing what she do best. Lie and flub it up.
Because it's not down 90, 80, 70, 60. In fact, it's up 10%.
Yeah.
And she comes up with some program that she's able to rationalize that wasn't a part of the discussion in the first place. But let's talk about the 1,500 people who are being sent, the active duty troops to the border. Last year, in the $1.5 trillion omnibus bill,
$1.5 trillion.
Biden cut Border Patrol by $500 million.
Now, why would he do that? So, we got troops going down there now, but $500 million he cut from the Border Patrol budget. So let me see. If you're trying to solve the problem, you probably would increase the budget, increase the folks down there on the border so we won't have to bring in the troops. And you probably would have policies that would make their job a lot easier instead of having them process all these people talking about humane way. Yeah, we're doing it in a humane way. While the cartel are letting folks run across the border with fentanyl because we're all down there giving people little cards. Here you go. I hope that's your real name. My name is Jose Rodriguez. Yes, absolutely. Okay, all right, Jose Rodriguez. 2 years from now, come back and then we'll hear your case. Okay, next. So for this guy right there to cut the budget lets us know where his priorities are. But yet, they gave money to the bumblebees on the highway. They're giving money to Pakistan for gender studies. They're giving all of this money away to everybody. Ukraine is having a great time on our expense. Great time, man. All that money, weapons, everything. And then talking about sending more. It's talking about sending more. And with an open-ended commitment to them. Interesting. And cutting the people on the border. Now, they're going over there trying to help defend Ukraine's border while our border looks just like this.
And it was amazing that yesterday he was talking about how great the Border Patrol was. He just cut them by $500 million. And now he's saying, you know what, they're doing a great job. And now we have to send more people there.
And, it goes to show that they don't care about the people that put their life on the line. They only throw out these platitudes, but yet their actions is totally opposite. We support the men and women in blue. We honor our troops down on the border. What? They were whipping Haitians? Or they need to pay the price. White nationalists / people of color, because Most of them are Mexican, I guess. But anyway, it doesn't matter. They're still white nationalists. Now let's get back to honoring them. Sorry, guys, we're going to be cutting your budget in half. Okay. And by the way, we're going to tie one of your arms behind your back while we expect you to do your job. Okay. Hey, don't look that way. You guys are professionals, right? You should be able to juggle signing in 10,000 people a day and tracking down fentanyl people that's coming across the border. You should be able to do it with less people. And you wonder why law enforcement despise these Democrats.
But why are we sending troops there? We're sending them in. We're taking them off of anti-terrorism task forces. We're taking them off of a whole program where we're reuniting families. And we're sending them in so they can welcome them in and then release them. This is a joke.
It is a joke. That's why all of those immigrants are posted up waiting like it's Christmas and the Cabbage Patch doll just dropped. Waiting for it to open. Sitting there like a new Star Wars movie has just dropped. Sitting there like Miguel Jackson is about to do a concert for Thriller. Sitting there waiting for the doors to open. All these troops are going to do is go down there not to solve the problem, but just to, facilitate. All right, welcome to America. Come on in. Hey, form a line. Form a line. Okay, good. Everybody okay? You need water? Everybody okay? All right, good. Go on up. That's all they're there to do. This is nothing but just a display, a show. If you're not sending them down there for action, why are you sending them there, Joe?
What do you make of this, Dana?
Well, I suspect that Eric Adams would have liked a heads up about the 1,500 troops going to the border before he threw down the race card. Yeah. The other thing that all of those cities have in common is that they are all sanctuary cities.
Yeah.
Oh. And everybody that gets on a bus knows exactly where they're going. And partly they want to go to these cities because that's where a lot of people can find work and that's where their families are.
You hear that? But Eric Adams couldn't make those connections. All he saw was racism. Sending them to us just because we're black mayors. You're dumb mayors. You're dumb mayors for having a sanctuary city. But you're not just dumb alone, okay? First of all, you got to be dumb or greedy and corrupt to even be a Democrat politician. So you're dumb / crooked.
So that's what is happening there. And also, why don't they ever complain that the white president isn't helping out the black mayor?
Exactly.
Exactly. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Exactly. Nobody's calling up to the White House and say, hey, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? Now, y'all got us buying into this. We're opening up our border and we're the Statue of Liberty and all of that and bring all your sick and your wounded and all of this mess. We done bought into that. However, I'm looking real bad here on the ground level. Okay, as the mayor, you see all these folks in the streets laying around in these buildings. I need help, man. Why aren't they doing that? I mean, if Trump allowed that to happen, he would be a white nationalist or something like that. He would be somebody who don't want to give them money because he hates people of color. But Joe Biden, nobody's mad at him. So you're going to misplace the blame, bruh?
They are quick to blame President Trump, who would have sent more money, right? Like he wasn't afraid to be able to say, like, okay, well, if here, like in Chicago, dealing with the gun violence, he was like, you want more people? I'll send you some resources.
For a real cause.
But then they turn it down.
For a real cause, not a problem that you created yourself. So yes, send in troops to stop black kids from getting shot, clean up the crime. Send in the troops to bust up the Summer of Love when they took over those blocks up there in Seattle. Send in the troops to stop these Antifians from burning down stuff and looting and robbing and stuff in cities. Send in the troops for that. However, you wouldn't have to send troops down there to the border if you would have kept policies in place that wouldn't have encouraged all these people to come. So you create the problem, then pretend to be trying to solve it by not solving it, because all you're doing is sending the troops down there to facilitate it. For show. That's all.
On that. This is a federal problem to solve, and the mayors are on the taking the brunt of it, but they will not ask the White House for more help. Mm-hmm. They won't turn in that. No, and the other thing is for Peter Doocy, he's like calm, cool, collected in the briefing room. I do think that he deserves a little bit, either some humility from the press secretary to say, okay, we were talking two different things, appreciate the question, let me go back and reset. Instead, she just says like, okay, I'm moving on, as if that's the answer.
Yeah, because she had no answer. She knew right after Peter Ducey asked her that question, and she got out there with that bootleg response. All right, Peter, calm down. I mean, less drama, less drama. All right, what I was referring to as in regards to there was the Muddle program, the Cavitolis and the strudels, and then we had this one plate, and then immigration in a humane way. Thank you. No more questions. No, Peter. No. We're moving on. We're moving on. She could not answer it. There was no way she could have answered it because what she pulled out of her butt was a full-blown duck out of her butt, not a rabbit. She pulled a duck out of her butt. That mess didn't even connect with the real issue of immigration. And she tried to gaslight us talking about something's down 90%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you didn't like the Ducinator title, did you?
I do like it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I like how you spelled it. I would have spelled it differently.
Yeah. Well, writers are on strike.
Now let's go to the dumb one. Let's go to the dumb one, y'all. Let's go to the liberal on the panel.
Right. So, Jessica, you can't invite somebody to a party and then claim racism when they show up.
True. That is so true, Greg. They, under Trump, was saying, bring everybody. We're inclusive. Trump's trying to keep the country white. All of that mess. And then when the folks get shipped to their cities, you're sending them here, not because we invited them, not because we support this, not because we are saying we're a sanctuary city, not because of all of that. You're sending them here because we're black. Therefore, it's racism. You should be asking for these people. You should be going, hey, if you don't want them, I'll take them. Okay, like adoption. All right, look, you had a baby, you don't want it, I'll take the baby. They should be doing that. But instead, they're mad, talking about you're sending there because we're black.
Isn't that what isn't that what Mayor Adams kind of did? It's like, here's an open door, but if you come, isn't he racist? Because they're Mexican or Spanish, they're Honduran, they're Guatemalan. Maybe he's the racist, Jessica.
No, not even a little bit. And I hadn't considered that one and didn't think that's where you were going with it, but I'm glad that we got there and everyone is settled. He also, later on in that clip, calls out President Biden. More than any other mayor has, any other Democratic mayor has. And he has done this before, and he's very clear about the fact that the feds owe these cities.
Look at that. Look at that. You see these people right here? They're getting off some bus just loving up on somebody. Easiest way to get into our country ever. We might as well not even have an immigration process. Right about now, it's a joke. I would be offended if I had to go through the proper channels and steps to come into America. And I get up here and look at this screen where I guess these Homeland Security officers and all of them, just people get off the bus, dap them up, welcome to America. Don't have to go through I got to learn the Constitution. I got to learn these things right now. I got to swear in, none of that. I just come right through the border. That's what's happening right now under this administration. This right here is so foul. I'm telling you, heads need to roll. And then Jessica.
Cities dollars to be able to deal with the problem that they have created. And I think that that's important. I think more big city mayors or mayors that are getting shipments of migrants should be doing that. Obviously, they're coming because they're sanctuary cities. And I think that Joe Biden should allocate money to be able to accommodate the problem while it's going on.
No, I don't think he should do that. I think he should solve the problem. Allocate money towards the problem that's going on. So basically, take money from taxpayers to deal with a problem that you guys created. That's what she's saying. See, this is what's so infuriating about this. They use our money for their own corruption. If they had to pay for these people and house these people in their crib or neighborhood, you think they would do that? They would send every single one of these people back across the border. If they looked at their taxes and said, oh, whoa, 40% is going towards illegal immigration, what's that? No, send them back. These folks are abusing their power and they're using the money for the pet projects to destroy the country and play around over there in Ukraine and other countries and spread propaganda about, you know what? Let's spread some transgender ideology over in Africa. Let's go ahead and pay this other country to be inclusive. Let's pay this country to talk about climate change as a major problem. Let's do all of this stupid stuff with everybody else's money while they get rich. It's crazy to me. So we shouldn't be sending money to any of these cities. Let these mayors ante up.
In terms of the 1,500 troops versus in 2018 when Trump sent 5,200, as you guys have pointed out to me many times, this is a different scenario because we have a surge of people coming across the border versus in 2018 when the numbers of people who are coming was much lower. And we know why it's different because
the percentage of people that was coming was much lower because Trump was much stricter. You knucklehead. The troops that he sent were not going down there to greet people. They were going down there to say, don't you bring your butts across here. Don't make us shoot some of this tear gas out there. And these folks were so emboldened by the Democrats encouraging them. They were sitting on top of the wall talking about Trump, we're coming anyway. The white nationalist, Trump's not going to stop us. We're coming to America with their flags. Their flags. They deserve those troops. They deserved a rubber bullet or two in the butt because those troops were sent to stop them from coming. That whole caravan that Jim Acosta had the nerve to be like, Mr. President, why you keep calling it a caravan and an invasion? It's not a caravan. And Trump had to say, Jim, you saw the people on the wall. They weren't actors, Jim. They weren't actors. I saw the caravan for miles and miles. They are coming and they're like, I don't care what y'all do. We coming. And when Trump sent their butts back over to Mexico and they had to stand Tijuana, you see what happened? Mexico said, hey, man, get these folks out of here. We don't want them in our neighborhood. Get them out of here. It wasn't one of them cases where it's like, well, they're all Latinos, so you keep them. You know, just because they're of the same race or background, we have to just embrace it. Nope. See, that's when folks start saying, hey, look, I'm black, but I don't want this. I don't want this. See, all these folks are talking about racism. If they brought 100,000 Haitians, Africans, or whatever, and just threw them in the hood with a whole bunch of these racially sensitive people, these people will find that I don't care if they're black. I don't want folks invading my space. This influx of people rapidly, they ain't even gradual, just immediately changes every single thing about your life if they're dumped into your neighborhood. And you're impacted, not Nancy Pelosi, not Joe Biden. None of these folks that put these policies in place are going to be impacted by this, with the exception of begging for more money, making other people handle the problems that they created.
We had a 3-year timeout from COVID where we had Title 42 and there were far fewer people that were even trying to get into the country because a lot of them were stuck in the places that they were coming from.
And see, she's failing to mention Title 42 was Trump. Stay in Mexico was Trump. All of these things that slowed it down wasn't no dang on COVID and all of that stuff. Because remember when Biden got in, those folks were still under those bridges. And when they asked them about COVID and forcing them to get vaccines and forcing them to be tested and forcing them to wear masks. Oh, well, you know what? We want to be sensitive to. They were still coming. I mean, COVID was at its height when those guys were on horseback down there whipping those Haitians. They were all stuck under that bridge. COVID was still going on when that Boeing 747 in the middle of the night landed and dropped all those illegal immigrants off. So what is she talking about?
So that explains that. And to sending, Trump saying, if you want me to send people to your cities, I'm happy to do that. He offered to send ICE agents everywhere, which isn't really sending people that are going to be particularly helpful.
Because that's what she's about. You hear that bleeding heart liberal sending people who are not going to be particularly helpful. If you break the law, you don't send somebody to counsel you. If somebody called me right now and I'm the police chief, yeah, these people are down there burning down stuff. They just broke into this department store. All right, send down the counselors. No. Send down the police. When the police come, they're coming because they're going, y'all shouldn't be in this department store right now. You got to go. Come on, let's go to jail. So here she is talking about they weren't going to be helpful. You don't send people to go down there to be helpful to people who broke the law. You send folks to enforce the law because the people broke it. And she wants people to go down there and encourage negative behavior. All right, guys, welcome to America now. You guys are naughty. You know you shouldn't have came across the border illegally. But hey, you know what? We are a melting pot. And the Statue of Liberty does say, it's unbelievable he or she is talking about, well, it's going to be helpful. It shouldn't be.
To migrants.
Well, one, if they're here illegally, that could help. But what I was talking about in particular was about the gun violence. And he said,
And see, that just shows the different mentality between a liberal and a conservative. This is the mentality that will break the whole piggy bank. If you got married to Jessica right there, you know what? We should give half our income away to cats that are treated unfortunately. And then don't forget, we want to get. She would give away everything. Every homeless person she's at, stop the car. Here's $5,000. And what are you doing? That guy's going to go buy booze. I don't care. She would be that person. This person right here would be like, you know what? Let's be cautious about what we spend. You know, what things we jump on board with. Let's be rational. This woman's talking about that. That's not helpful. And the other one thinks like this. Of course it will be helpful because ICE is supposed to take them back home because they shouldn't be here. Totally different mind frame.
that he would send FBI resources. So that's apples and oranges.
Thank you.
Ooh, I'm listening to Adam say that it's racist for Republicans to bring illegals out of the shadows.
Get him, Jesse.
So stupid. Permission to make an analogy?
Please.
I think so.
This is like a lawyer complaining that all these people are coming to them with problems. That's what you signed up for.
True.
You're a sanctuary city. And correct me if I'm wrong, is the mayor of Martha's Vineyard black or white?
Don't know.
I'm going to have to look into that. De Blasio, I believe, was white, right?
Definitely white.
And Rahm Emanuel, was he white?
Pretty white.
Still
Okay.
is.
Somebody here on Facebook said, no, Kevin, liberals are only generous with other people's money. You ain't never lied on that one. They are. They're very generous with other people's money. Let's give to the bumblebees on the side of the highway. Let's give to all of that. Rare snails in Botswana. Let's give money to that. Yeah, but when it comes down to coming out of their own pockets, what? That's why Bernie Sanders switched it up real quick. Talking about the 1% should pay more. Okay, why don't you pay more in taxes? What? That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy when it comes out of your pocket, burn eye. All right, so Jesse, go ahead and finish this analogy.
Why wasn't Texas sending illegals to these white mayors? I'll answer that question for myself. It's because there wasn't a record-breaking amount of illegals that were overflowing the border back then. It has nothing to do with race. Texas is full. Texas doesn't even have a state income tax, and they're still paying for all of these illegals, millions of them. The mayor here is complaining about a couple thousand with more resources than any other city in the entire country.
Yeah, because it's an inconvenience to him. And it's probably getting to a point where I saw a video a couple days ago where the citizens were mad. Like, yo, man, where'd these people come from? What are we going to do about this? Y'all bringing all these folks in here? I think it might have been Chicago. They were upset about it. Now I'm saying to myself, don't get mad. You voted these people in. How about you guys make better choices when you're hiring a CEO to run your city? When you got councilmen and women that's putting policies in place and speaking for y'all. Yeah, we're a melting pot. We're not going to buy into this white national extremism. So, welcome all of you. And then when they show up, it's like, we didn't expect it to be this many. And the people who, for whatever reason, don't see what these people are doing and just vote for them because they think they're solving racism or something. When these folks show up, they're going, whoa, this is an inconvenience to us. But if you don't vote those people out and make them feel like me making these choices is going to cost my job, what's to stop them? Nothing. They're going to say, so what? Let the people complain. They'll vote me back in anyway. Or somebody just like me.
That's ridiculous. Now, I saw on the way into work a illegal immigration family digging through the trash looking for recyclables.
How did you know they were illegal?
See, there it is. You heard a liberal? You heard a liberal come in? How'd you know they were illegal? See, how'd you know they were illegal? That's stereotyping, right? Yeah. That's like saying, how'd you know it was a guy? And it could have been a girl. How you know it was a girl? It could have been a guy. You don't want to label people. You can't use deductive reasoning, context clues.
And
Jesse.
I can tell.
Jesse?
I'm a city guy. And you don't want me to get into it, but I can tell. And it is the saddest thing to see because they're not able to work here.
Yeah.
They came to work, but they're not able to work here. And the point is this. You have to be able to choose the people that come into the country based on needs.
Smart.
If you need this type of person, you need this type of... bring them in. But to just say, yeah, come everybody in, and then oops, now people are looking for, a 5-cent bottle. That's not right. And you can't blame the guy down in Texas for that. Joe Biden is the common denominator for all of this. It's like a bad manager that doesn't do his job.
Thank you, Jesse.
Then everybody on the staff's pointing fingers and bitching about the other person. But if the manager would just do their job, everybody could stay in their lane. Texas could focus on Texas, and New York could focus on New York.
And we'd be like a fine-tuned machine if that was happening. If all of our states enforced the law, then we wouldn't even have this problem. We wouldn't be talking about send them up north, send them out to the west, none of that. It would be, look, man, let's get on the phone with all the mayors and governors and say, hey, man, your border lockdown? Good. Okay, ours is too. Yep. All right, we're all on one accord. We're not sitting back launching a diabolical scheme to change the demographics of our country by allowing these people to come in, by lowering the standard to get into our country. See, we're not doing that. Okay, then we're all good. We're all good. If every one of the people who swore to uphold the Constitution actually did it, we wouldn't have this problem. Oops.
If you want.
Wait a minute. Hold up.
Yes, there you go. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre refused to walk back her bogus claim today. Listen to this. Immigration is down by 90%.
90%.
Listen to this, please, Senator.
You said yesterday that when it comes to illegal migration,
watch her get mad.
You see it come down by more than 90%. Where did that number come from?
Out of my butt. I told you that, Peter.
The number is.
I hear you. I'm about to answer.
She's mad because Peter asked.
I'm about to answer.
I'm about to lie. Give me a minute.
If the dramatics could come down just a little bit. If the dramatics could come down a little bit.
What's dramatic about asking a question about?
Okay, I'm going to answer. So I was speaking to the parolee program. As you know, the president put in place a parolee program to deal with certain countries on ways that we can limit illegal migration, and we have seen the data has shown us that it has gone down by more than 90%.
What that got to do with this? You hear the parolee program? Yeah. See, somebody said, don't forget they built 2,000 plus FEMA camps. Yep. Remember that? The FEMA camps that they built? And I'm saying, why are you building hotels for them? Why are you building little camps? That gives them the signal that we're preparing for your arrival and your stay. No, you should be tearing all that down. Talking about, look, man, no more vacancies. So here she is talking about to lower illegal immigration. So basically, if it was up to these people, they don't even want the stigmatism of illegal immigration. They would say, you know what, let's not even call it that. Just like they don't call them illegal aliens no more. They're undocumented citizens. So right now, you want to solve the illegal immigration? That's like saying, let everybody come and no longer call it even illegal immigration. Just let them come on across and they can just become citizens. Therefore, we've solved illegal immigration. That's what that little program she's talking about does. It's let's let these people all come in. And now, since they're coming in anyway, because we said it's now legal for them, that right there brought down illegal immigration. See how that worked? That's what she tried to pull over, and Peter didn't let her do it.
That was what I was speaking to. No, we're going to go. We're going to move. Go ahead.
Somebody else.
Well, I don't know what she's talking about. 90%. I mean, I'm looking, Senator Cruz. Illegals in fiscal 21, 1.7 million. In fiscal 22, 2.8 million. Year to date, 6 months worth, 1.5 million. And Title 42 is running out, so the whole thing's going to double in the next 6 months. And Senator, I don't understand. 1,500 troops, they do not have the power to arrest or deport. So I'm just saying, with no disrespect, they're like babysitters. Yeah. They're just processing. I don't understand what this is all about, sir.
Well, nobody does. You can't make sense out of this nonsense, but yet you can. What it is these folks have created a racket. Our politicians have sold out our country, and they have opened up these borders in a passive way by changing the policies and trying to pretend that this is about being humane and compassionate. And they're not doing anything that can actually deter these people from coming. Every solution thrown at them, every rational solution, they've rejected it. A couple weeks ago, when I did my live show, I showed y'all Kennedy asking Mucus a simple question. Why don't you require them to show proof that they applied for asylum in the first country they came to. I don't think that would be a healthy solution. Why not? That is not the way we want to do things. No, because that would solve the problem. They don't want to solve the problem. This is unbelievable, and they should get a boot so far up their butt.
Well, Larry, I'm sorry to say Karine Jean-Pierre is the most brazen liar ever to take the podium at the White House press briefing. She lies routinely, and it's not spin. Look, we expect White House press secretaries to spin, to have a take on the facts. Okay, that's part of discourse. But she stands up there and just gives flat-out falsehood. She just said, and you just played it, that under Biden, illegal immigration has dropped 90%. Now, that's not kind of sort of right. It's not a little bit right. It hasn't dropped at all. And in fact, incredible success in securing our border. Joe Biden came in, he opened up the border, and within days of his being sworn in, the numbers skyrocketed. We went from the lowest rate of illegal immigration to the highest rate in history.
Now, that's the opposite of what Black Gay Drop was saying. We're down 90%, over 90%. Now, you're telling me that illegal immigration, 1 second, and y'all back. Internet keep going in and out on YouTube. I was saying that under Biden, you have the highest illegal immigration numbers of all times. He's number one. His administration is number one. And we're about to hear from Mucus in a second.
So it didn't drop at all.
And I'm back. And I'm mad about being back with the internet's playing games. Dang on it. My Wi-Fi better be working. I paid too much for that mess, man. All right, now let's finish this.
Over 6 million illegal immigrants crossed the border under Joe Biden. And the amazing thing is, Karine Jean-Pierre says that. She just flat out lies. And she says that all the time. She's also stood at that podium and said, people are not just walking across the border. Look, you're playing next.
See? She was right. People aren't just walking across the border. They're swimming across the border, skipping across the border. You name it.
To me, videos of people swimming across the river, walking across the border. You're playing that right now. And she just flat out lies. Now, two things are amazing. Number one
is what?
At the end of the day, that's not as much her fault as it is Joe Biden's. Joe Biden is the president. Yeah. And when you send out a liar to lie on behalf of the White House at the White House podium, that's Joe Biden lying and being perfectly willing to lie to the American people. But
that's right. So she's lying for the liar. There you go.
Number two, just the blatancy with which she does this is a complete indictment of the corporate media, because Fox will ask her about it. But where's CNN? Where's ABC? Where's NBC? Where's CBS? Where's MSNBC?
Where is my press pass? Kevin from Kevin's Corner. How did you get in here? Don't worry about that, Black Gay Drop. Now, let's get back to that illegal immigration lie you just told. That's what needs to happen. I need to be up in there. I need to, if she come talking about some, no, Kevin, we're going to move on. Throw the mic. Did you just throw a mic at my head? No. Maybe. I just wanted to see if that afro was hard or soft. Let's continue.
Don't care that she is standing there flat out lying to the American people. The fact that she does that is a complete and total indictment of today's corporate media.
Suppose you said we're going to have 1,500 troops and they're going to launch a war against the drug cartels. Or we're going to use our military to take out these drug factories in Mexico. Now, that would be something. Military, all these guys are going to do is process illegal immigrants who come over the border illegally.
That don't solve it.
I mean, I just don't understand this policy at all.
Larry, it's even worse than that.
It's worse than that.
They're not babysitters. They are political props. They are window dressing. So Joe Biden ordered 1,500 troops to our southern border. Why? Because he is in the process of lifting Title 42, the only legal authority they followed to actually deport people. And so the 6.5 million people that have crossed illegally, that number is going to go up. It's going to go up, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris want that 6 million to become 10 million, to become 12 million, to become 15 million. And so the troops are there.
And that's not including the estimated over 20 million that's been here over all the years. So you're looking at 50 million people at some point. And God forbid we don't take back the White House. Can you imagine within another 8 years of some dodo bird, or 4 years, how many illegal immigrants would be in this country? This
to stand in the photographs and say, see, we're doing something.
Right.
But you put your finger on exactly the right point. You could have 10,000 troops on the border, and it wouldn't stop this problem because the reason for this crisis is that Joe Biden won't deport the people who come. Instead, he does catch and release. So if you had 10,000 troops, they'd catch someone, they'd hand him over to the Biden administration, and the Biden administration would put that person on a plane or on a truck or on a bus and drop him off in your community. Until they change that, no amount of political props, and sadly, Biden uses the military as props regularly instead of actually stepping forward and solving the national security crisis we have at our southern border.
Thank you, Ted Cruz. That is 100% true. They do the same thing with criminals too, y'all. Long as you're a criminal of color or maybe an Antifian, go ahead, lock you up. What'd you do? Attempted rape like 15 times? Hey, buddy, you better behave now. Get on out of here. I don't want to see you back. Go ahead, scram. They do that with criminals. They do that with illegals. It's unreal to me how these folks are completely lawless. And yet, folks vote for them to run the country? Unreal. So let's go ahead and hear from Mucus before we leave, y'all. You know I love it when Mucus come on, y'all. Oh, yeah, Mucus is back. So
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Mayorkas, month after month, members of this committee receive reports regarding fentanyl seizures, fentanyl deaths, gotaways, and other important data that paints a clear picture of an unsettling image of what is going on at our southwest border. And Mr. Secretary, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page with respect to that data. So please direct your attention to the board behind me. I'm going to ask you what should be some very straightforward multiple choice questions using data from CBP, Homeland Security, DEA, and the Census Bureau. And sir, I know that we're limited on time, so I would appreciate it if when you responded, you just say A, B, C, or D in these multiple choice questions, sir.
So he giving Mucus a multiple choice questions, a test. Let's see if Mucus passed this test. Oh, yeah. So, you ready, Mucus? Here we go. Let me see something. Where is it? All right, here we go. Okay, let's go. Let's get it.
And so my first question is, according to CBP, how much fentanyl has CBP seized along the southwest border in FY23? You see the answers behind me, sir.
So now y'all see that A. Let's see what the potential answers were. Let's see. A is 0. B, nearly 1,000 pounds. C, nearly 7,000 pounds. And D, nearly 13.500 pounds. So let's see if Mucus get past that test.
Seized along the southwest border in FY23. You see the answers behind me, sir.
So, Congressman, two quick things. Number one, my distance vision isn't what it used to be, so I can't actually see that.
Here you go. There you go, Mucus. Yep, that's what you need right there. That'll help you out. I would have stopped right there and be like, all right, tell you what, we got a solution for that. Take this down there to Mucus, please. We want him to see those numbers up close and personal. Put him in the classroom and ask him, what do you think about this? What number do you think? So now watch Mucus going to try to get mad.
And number two, I'm not taking a multiple choice test that you administer. Let me assure you of that.
On point number one, sir, the clerk has a physical copy of the questions, so you can see them in front of you. So I'll narrate the questions, sir, with respect to the amount of drugs, specifically fentanyl seized at the border. The answer is 13,800 pounds.
Now, I take that big board right there, walk down there, and slap it right up against Mucus's face, like newspaper. Put his nose in it, rub it all over there. You see that? You see that? 13,500 pounds of fentanyl.
Seized in the first 6 months of FY23. That is enough to kill 2.5 billion people, every American 8 times over. The next
2.5 billion people 8 times over. Thanks, Mucus. So let's go ahead and continue because Mucus is doing poorly already on this test.
Question, sir. According to the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, how many Americans died from synthetic opioids, such as fentanyl, between January 2021 and January 2022, your first year in office, sir?
Congressman, from approximately 2021 to the data in 2022 is not yet available. Approximately, let me give you some stats. In 2020, close to 58,000 people died from fentanyl overdose deaths.
2020.
In 2018, almost 47,000 people died from fentanyl overdose deaths. The challenge of fentanyl, the scourge of fentanyl.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
See, yeah, don't give him that platform. Don't let him rattle off those numbers and try to act like this right here is too big for us to handle. That's why I'm on it. Yeah, this is a horrible thing that's happening here. Yeah, see, the challenge of fentanyl is no. You did this, Mucus. You did this. Don't sit back and try to weasel out of it. And once you read the data, talk about, and that's exactly why the men and women are working hard every day. No, you're working hard every day to be counterproductive to stopping it. If you didn't have our Border Patrol agents babysitting and cutting our budget and stuff like that, we wouldn't have all that fentanyl coming across the border. But yet your butt gonna try to go into some speech afterwards, after reading off that fat number.
With respect to my question, so I'm going to reclaim my time, Mr. Chairman. The answer is D, 71,941. That's almost 200 per day, sir.
200
that
per day.
exceeds the population of Portland, Maine.
Wow.
In essence, we lost a small city because of fentanyl in 2021.
No, not just because of fentanyl, because of Mucus and Biden and their policies. That's why we lost all those people.
Next slide, please. Sir, the next question is how many known gotaways was DHS aware of in fiscal
Y'all
year
ready for this
21?
number?
In 2021, I believe the number was almost 390,000.
Yes, the answer is D, 389,000 gotaways.
389,000 gotaways. That's not including the 8 million folks that's done come in the last 2.5 years or so. 389,000 gotaways that we don't know where they're at, what they're doing. You know, imagine how much fentanyl came in with them. And this guy thinks he's doing a good job. We're going to close with someone giving him such a verbal lashing that I don't know if Mucus could ever recover from it.
Finally, the last slide. Sir, of which of the following cities, which of the following cities have populations less than 389,000, the same number as the known gotaways that we just mentioned earlier?
Congressman, I think you know the answer to the question.
Yeah.
Perhaps you could provide it to us.
Well, it's actually a trick question, Mr. Secretary. Each of the 4 cities behind me are well-known American cities that have populations less than the total number of known gotaways last year.
Wow. So let me get this straight. Tampa, Florida, New Orleans, Cleveland, Ohio, and Pittsburgh all have less citizens than the amount of people who got away. And you think you're doing your job, Mucus. You think you out there making a difference. We are committed every day to stopping the cartel and the fentanyl and illegal. How many of these folks just running around came in from Al-Qaeda? Huh? How about Russia? China? No telling where these people are from. And Mucus thinks he's protecting the homeland. Ooh.
And let that sink in. America could have a whole new city based solely how ineffective you've been at securing the border, sir.
How do you like that, Mucus? How did you like those green apples? How do you like to hear what you have done?
And Mr. Secretary, it's clear to me by your inability to swiftly answer these seemingly easy questions that you and this committee are not on the same page. I know, sir, that you're well aware of this data, and it's unfortunate you cannot be proud of it. In your testimony, you only...
Actually, I am proud of it because I am doing exactly what they placed me here to do. Breaking the border and making sure that we bring in as many legal immigrants as possible. Yeah, he's proud of it, all right. Behind closed doors, they're all celebrating. Pretty soon, America won't be America. That's what's going on.
Only mentioned the word crisis once, and it wasn't even in relation to America's border crisis. In fact, it had nothing even to do with our homeland. And sir, as the leader of the Homeland Security Department, you have a duty to secure the border and to keep Americans safe. And sir, with all due respect, there is a crisis at our southwest border, and you are failing in your very important duty. And
of course, I know it's a crisis because I am the one that created it. That's why. And so now we're going to have Higgins come in and give him a verbal lashing on our way out.
The only question remaining is whether you're doing so out of negligence, recklessness, or if it's intentional. So let this data serve as a stark reminder of the severity of the crisis at our southwest border. Mr. Secretary, time is of the essence. American lives are being lost every day, and I beg of you to please act immediately.
The American people deserve nothing less.
I don't care about the American lives that are being lost. I care about changing the demographics of America and destroying the country as it currently exists. That's what he should have said right after that. And because he won't say it, we now have to bring in a special guest to send us on our way. Someone who does not mince words. This man is about to give Mucus what he needs. A counseling session. A truth counseling session. I present to you Higgins.
Secretary, you stand in your testimony today regarding operational control of our southern border, which by any reasonable man's definition certainly been lost. You're standing on a word in the legislation that gave birth to the specific law saying all illegal crossings and no one's ever would take a drip. America be okay with that? Would you and your execution of your inaugurated president's policy have given America a flood?
See, off grip. Came right off grip. Poof, poof, poof. Give it to him. This is one of those speeches that he's like, don't even talk. I'm not asking questions. I'm simply here to tell you what you really are about. Now, you talking about a counseling session. You talking about somebody getting all up in your business. He about to get knee deep. Not just knee deep. Don't need they didn't freak with me. So he said, look, we're tolerable. We could take a drip here or there. But you and your administration brought a flood. Listen there, Secretary Mucus.
Identified over 11 laws that you violated. Some of the most egregious, the Secure Offense Act 2006 concerning operational control. Immigration Nationalization Act 236, Section C, 8, U.S. Code 1226 concerning detention. INA 241, Section A, 2, U.S. Code 8, 1231 concerning detention. Immigration and Nationalization Act, Section D, 5, Alpha, 8, U.S. Code 1182 concerning parole. We've given you ample opportunity to seek some sort of honorable exit from your executive position.
I love Higgins. I love him. First of all, he identified all of the violations and then said, now we've given you ample amount of opportunity to bail out and pull that parachute while you still got some integrity. You do realize Biden, Mucus, and all of them are going to go down as the administration that destroyed the country if they continue this way. They will be single-handedly responsible for destroying America as we know it today. And they will go down, if we do survive this, as the worst administration. Mucus will go down as the worst DHS director, whatever. All of that. They will go down, bringing up the rear. So he's telling him, you could have got out, man. We tried to give you a out. So now I'm going to have to give you the business.
Sir, we take no pleasure in witnessing you dismantle yourself as a fellow American before the whole country.
This is my boy right here, y'all. We take no pleasure in witnessing you dismantle yourself in front of the whole country. You dismantled yourself. This is self-inflicted, Mucus. Now, I'm going to be honest. I do kind of take pleasure in it. I don't take pleasure in the results, though, that's happening because of this guy dismantling himself. Okay, who's lying to himself and us, talking about, I am doing a good job.
Legacy, millions of illegals enter our country, millions under your watch, loss of operational control of our border, aligning DHS policy as an asset to Mexican cartel drug and human trafficking.
Ooh, Higgins, aligning DHS policies with the cartel, drug and trafficking. That's what he did. When he changed up all of these policies, he aligned himself up with the cartels. That's why they all need to be drug out. So let me get this straight. Your policies have made it very convenient for the cartel to exploit our border on multiple fronts. One, by charging all these people that you guys have invited to come. They've made sure the cartel gives them a heavy dose and a conveyor belt of illegal immigrants. They know that these people are not coming across that border unless they pay the cartel. So now they know the cartel is pimping the system, but they're okay with that. They're okay with that. Secondly, they also know by restricting our border patrol and removing some of them because you cut the budget, what does that do? That opens up the door for the cartel to be running across the border with those 389,000 getaways. That's what that does. And you wonder why the fentanyl has went up. You wonder why the crime has gone up. You wonder why illegal immigration has went up. All of these things are because the Biden administration has aligned themselves with the criminals because they're criminals, as we saw in the beginning of my video, Joe Biden.
The disintegration of our national sovereignty, destruction of countless thousands of Texas family lives, overwhelming crime waves sweeping across our country, over 1 million criminal runners you call gotaways flooding into America, many carrying backpacks loaded with deadly fentanyl and meth, or herding teenage girls into prostitution, sex slave networks across America.
Higgins ain't playing, man. Higgy is not playing. I wonder how Mucus is feeling right there as he's getting chastised by his superior. Right about now, that's one of them speeches that your grandmama give you, and you can't even talk back, and you know she's telling the truth. Boy, you're selfish. You don't wash your butt. Always smell like razzmatazz. You don't read good. You're getting fat. You got that bald spot on top of your head, and you're just giving it to you. And so that's what he's doing to Mucus. Mucus is sitting there taking the abuse.
225,000 Americans dead from Mexican cartel drug overdose since you took office 2 years ago. You and your inaugurated president, but mostly you, sir, because you have your whole mind about you.
Oh, no, he didn't. He said, mostly you, sir, because you got your whole mind about you. Meaning we can't hold Joe as responsible for this mess as we can you. Because that dude is senile. He's demented. He probably don't know nothing but chocolate, chocolate, chip. You know exactly what you're doing. Now, don't get me wrong. Joe has just enough scruples to say, yeah, you know what? I know what's going on. I know illegal immigration is bad because they've been cool with this now for years. So he knows what's going on. But yet, you see my man Higgins, he straight said, you got your wits about yourself. In other words, indirectly saying Joe's crazy.
And you have a highly decorated background in border operations, so you're supposed to be the expert. You, sir, are the Secretary of Homeland Security who has failed in your sworn oath to protect our nation from invasion. You had an obligation to execute the president's policies or advise the president if his policies were bringing injury to America.
Don't stop, get it, get it. Don't stop, get it, get it. Higgins is giving it to him. Don't stop till you get it. Now, keep on. So he said, you, sir, are the Director of Homeland Security. And if this crap ain't working, why aren't you going to Biden saying this crap ain't working? You know why? Because they told him when he got in, break that crap. We don't want it to work. You're doing exactly what we want you to do, Mucus. Get out there, though, and take one for the team. We know you're going to be hated by the people who work under you. We know that you're going to be beat up in Congress by the Republicans. But don't worry about that. Don't worry about that because, see, we'll have our media sweep it under the rug, cover it up or whatever, downplay it. And if you can just make it through these hearings and just eat it, grit your teeth and bear it, you'll be okay. Because in the long run, you're helping out our goal and objective. That's why he's not advising Joe to do anything different. He's doing exactly what he's been advised to do.
Ultimately, your oath requires you to secure our nation's sovereign border with Mexico and do anything necessary to stop the Mexican cartels from trafficking endless wave upon human wave of illegals into America.
Anything necessary. I want to apply for Mucus's job. I'm just letting you know. Because I would do anything necessary to stop the cartel. Anything necessary. As if we can't do it. First things first, we need to change back the policies in the military and bring back some pride so we can meet our quotas. I mean, you don't want to have a thinned out military. But if we can get a robust military going on, I might create a division of the military that their whole job is to defend our border. Build the wall first. Stack some military posts right down that border. Throw out some cameras, some drones, and watch all of this mess shut down. Throw a couple of tanks, a couple drones out there with rockets, armed drones. So this way, everybody's looking up like, oh shoot, what's that little glitter reflection? I want them walking around like Baghdadi was, like Solomon Grundy was, worried about the U.S. dropping a missile on their butts. I would stack it, man, like that. Dedicate a satellite or something just to view our borders. But yet they don't really want to stop it. They'd rather the fentanyl come across. They'd rather the cartel benefits and profits off of this. They don't care about that mess.
Along with miserable death, unspeakable grief, graveyards filled from sea to shining sea with the bodies of American sons and daughters dead from fentanyl.
Nope, dead from you guys allowing all of this fentanyl to come into this country.
You've brought generational trauma upon our country. Mucus. I believe history will witness your era of service as a transitional time in our country. Well, what was America like before Secretary Mayorkas? What was America like after him?
Woo! He is driving it home. Mucus probably he probably got a voodoo doll in him right now. I hate you, Higgins. I'm going to poke you with these stick pins until you feel it. Yeah, I know he got hurt listening to this, man. He said, this dude's changing America. You're going to go down in history, Mucus. I hope he understands that. Now, if the Democrats are able to write history, he'll go down as a hero. Look at him. He was inclusive. He was open. We weren't drug into white nationalism and racism. Now we're a melting pot that all votes for Democrats. All our cities are Democrats, which eventually will lean straight into some darn tyranny / what do you call it? Socialism or whatever they're going to come up with. The New World Order. That's what'll happen. So let them write the story. Mucus will be a hero. But the real story is he's a zero. All right, we're done.
Stunning that you could sit there and smugly grin as if you've not miserably failed your country. We could give you money to hire 1,000 new border agents. Nobody wants to work for you.
Oh, good googly. Oh, nobody likes you. See, tell me this ain't one of the realest speeches on the way out ever. Stunning that you could sit there with that silly grin on your face. That smirk. He said, we give you all the money in the world and nobody wants to work for you. That's why we're failing in so many areas. Can't find police officers because nobody wants to work for the Democrat cities that they don't support the police. Can't find enough Border Patrol agents. Nobody wants to work for a Border Patrol that is enabling these illegal immigrants to come across. Can't find enough folks to join the military because nobody wants to sit in sensitivity training classes instead of out there talking about be all that you can be in the Army. Nobody wants to go through this garbage that the Democrats is trying to enforce on our society. So he had to give him a wake-up call. Nobody want to work with you, Mucus.
They're coming forth. We can't keep up with the whistleblowers that are coming to testify against your command. We could give you money to deploy all sorts of new technology. I have evidence in my file that you've given command to not deploy technology that you currently have. Because
good googly moo. That speech gives me the willies. And it also gives Mucus the willies too. So y'all hear that? He said, I got text messages. We got so many whistleblowers coming to us and telling us that you are purposefully subverting our laws. You're doing things that make it easier for these people to come in. So we got the technology you're always talking about. You telling I don't deploy it. We don't want to come across as insensitive to these people's needs. So why have it? Why are y'all always deferring to the technology? Soon as we say, well, where's the wall? We don't need it. There's better ways to do it with technology. And yet you're ordering people not to employ the technology. Mucus, why isn't this man impeached yet?
Because it interfered with the cartel's business model. We're done with your lies to America. It's shameful what you brought upon our country. Mr. Chairman, I have no interest in asking the Secretary any questions. He obfuscates and lies.
Oh, man. I tell you, I know Mucus want to jump from behind that desk and fight and get beat up by Higgins. That's what would happen. He'd get beat up. But yeah, he had to sit there and take that. Hopefully you don't have kids that watch that. Daddy, we saw you get beat up on TV that day. That man right there, he gave you a verbal lashing that you well deserved and some. So there you have it. That's what we're looking at in the next couple of days here. our border is going to be obliterated because of this dude and the Bidens and all of them and their policies. They have been destroying this country on every front. It's just imploding at rapid speed. And we need the help of God. And we need to make sure that the people who still got enough sanity hold the line and continue to make good choices that would lessen the possibility of these people remaining in power. I'm telling you, man, if they somehow squeak by again with some shenanigans, another 4 years of this, we might be looking for some asylum. We might be going, Mexico is a sanctuary city. So anyway, somebody said I'd like to donate my 5 minutes to Kev. Thank you very much. Now, speaking of donations, those that support the channel, if you want to donate to my channel, there are links below in the descriptions. My PayPal, my Cash App, and I think I put my P.O. box. Somebody asked for that too. I think it's in the descriptions as well. I will be posting individual videos again now on this channel, but I'm going to do them on all of the channels. So hopefully you'll be subscribed to all of them, but I'm going to keep you off balance. See, some I'm going to post only to certain channels, which will give some incentive, perhaps, people to start subscribing to that channel. Because I want to grow both channels equally, so we're not faced with what we had to deal with a couple weeks ago with this one. There's nothing worse than waking up every day looking at, there it is. The other channel is KC 2.3. Yeah, and nothing worse than waking up every day looking at your channel like, oh, is it still on? Whew, okay, I made it another day. No telling what YouTube might just find and say, that was offensive. We're shutting it down. My agency told me that they had, one of their clients had millions of subscribers and woke up, channel gone. Millions of subscribers. That right there puts you right back in the poorhouse. So we'll see. And I'll see if the notifications are going to start going back out now that I'm back on this channel, because obviously the notifications hasn't gone out. Because usually on this channel, this chat, we have like 500-600 people sometimes. And tonight, maybe YouTube forgot. Oh, he's back? Crap. All right, now we got to figure out another way to shut him down again. So who knows? But I just want to thank y'all for joining the channel tonight. Spread the word, spread the news, spread the channel. Continue to support, subscribe to my Rumble as well, and follow me on all the other social media platforms, just in case I do disappear from this channel or whatever. You can still find me. We can still stay in touch, okay? God bless y'all. God bless America. Let's get out of here, man. I'm hungry. Time for me to go and get some nourishment.
This is awesome.
Yeah. Somebody said, are there spaces between the address for the other channel? I don't think so. It's KC, just the number 2, and the word, KC 2.free. There you go. The word point. All right. And free. All right. God bless y'all. We see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care.